since 1950. Now, let me see if I can be as delicate as I can. I dealt with 18-year-olds, 19, 20-year-olds. Okay. No matter what year it was that I taught, they were always 18 or 19 or 20. Okay. That's the one hassle about teaching. The only person who ever ages is teaching. Yes. Well, keep in mind that I started to teach at West Liberty in 1969. So my first students were born in the early 1950s. Okay. I retired 3 years ago this week, which meant that my last group of students were born in 1989. Okay. Now, the Wheeling that somebody from 1989 remembers as a child would certainly be different from the Wheeling that my first group of students remembered as a child. And I think I may have mentioned this the first time. What got me interested in local history, besides the fact that I found a dissertation that somebody at WVU would let me do, was the realization that so many of the students in my classes either didn't know very much about their local environment, not only in terms of history, but in terms of the economy. I was shocked they didn't know the basics of how steel was made, or, you know, the things that were found in this area. So I wanted to try to do something about that. Now, you can see on the chart that is up there, populations. And the census year is on the left. The next column are the populations of Wheeling. And you will notice in all the time that we've been talking about so far in this course, there's always been a plus sign until you get to 1940, where you have the first minus. And I know it might be difficult. You know, I am dyslexic. You laugh. I know there's one person in this room who's not laughing. She's going, or he is. Okay. Look at 1920. And I have written in here 41,505. Now, that would be, hey, this is nice up here. That would have been Wheeling's population had not something occurred in 1919. And what occurred in 1919 was what's called the Greater Wheeling Plan, the annexation of all of these neighborhoods. Had that not occurred, Wheeling would have had its first population loss here. They would have lost about 136 people. But Wheeling, and let me read to you a little description. The News Register, at that time, the Register, advocated annexation because they thought that that would give a population in Wheeling by 1920 of 75,000. 75,000. Okay. The annexation gave Wheeling a population of 56,208. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, we're talking about, and let me see if I can find it, the communities of Wheeling, Warwood, Woodsdale, Fulton, Leatherwood, Edgewood, Pleasant Valley, Elm Grove, and Patterson. There were 9 in that vote. Okay? And I want to read you some percentages. These are the percentages of favorable vote. Wheeling, 93%. Woodsdale, 51.9%. That's 2, right? Here are the other 7. Wardwood, 39%. Fulton, 38%. Edgewood, 48%. Pleasant Valley, 45%. Elm Grove, 40%. Patterson, 46%. If this, and it was a state law, it was a state bill that was passed, if the bill had said the community voting, if they voted no, they wouldn't join, there would have been no creation of a Greater Wheeling. Because the only section that voted yes was Woodsdale. And the reason for that is that a lot of people who worked in downtown Wheeling and whose, well, were the city fathers, they were moving out to Woodsdale. Okay? So, that gives us our first indication that something is changing in Wheeling as early as 1920. I mean, when I first started teaching the history of Wheeling 25 years ago, like so many others, I just assumed it was a product of a much later time, 70s and beyond. Well, that's not true. We can see that it starts earlier. For example, when I looked at the statistics from 1910, and Wheeling's still the largest city in West Virginia, what struck me was the percentage of increase in 1910 over 1900 is very small. It's like, I don't know if I have the 7.11%. The other cities like Charleston, Huntington, Morgantown, Parkersburg, their percentage increases were all 20 plus. So something is happening here. And one of the things that's happening is that Wheeling has run out of room. There's no place else to go. We're full from you know, that road that runs up to North Park down to the Marshall County line. Then there's a river, and you go, when you get over across the island, you're in the state of Ohio. And remember the poem, and who would commit suicide to only find on the other side of hell, Bridgeport, Ohio. Okay, so we're not going to go there. Nobody wants to go to hell. Bridgeport. Okay, and then the other one. Okay. So, what is it that happens? Well, let me...
Excuse us.
Okay. This will not happen again. How many times have I said that? Now, look. You know how difficult it is to read directions and these things? Look at the... See, if this is the only bit of evidence that I can give you, you have got to figure out that something happened to the economy. Because where population declines, there have to be some reasons that push people out or stop bringing them in. And it starts slowly, less than 1%, 3.5%, 9%, almost 10%, 10%, 19%. And if you'll notice over there on that board, the projected population in July of 2008 was 28,913, which means that Wheeling, including all of that stuff that we annexed, plus, remember, all the stuff around where we'll be